Hello, welcome to the Automated Spaces Self-Build Specification Budgeting Tool. This video is going to give you an overview of how to use the tools and hints and tips as you're navigating through. It'll give you an overview of some of the technologies that you can potentially specify within your future dream home. So we hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any specific questions about how to use the tool or any feedback, feel free to get in touch. Alternatively, if you've got a self-build project that you're currently working on and you'd like to know about any of the potential technologies mentioned and how you could include those within your dream home, feel free to get in touch. We'd love to help with your project. Okay, let's show you where the tool is located. So if you come to our website, which is automatedspaces.co.uk, you'll come to the home page here and you'll see at the top along the menu bar we have how much does a smart home cost. If you select that option, that will take you through to this page, which is our self-build smart home specification budgeting tool. If you'd like to scroll down, we talk about some of the challenges involved with building your own home, which can be obviously a very rewarding project as well, but we like to help you along the way to make sure that dream comes true. So here you can see we have a summary of all the various different options of the different elements included within the tool, which range from safety and security devices through to home entertainment, smart lighting. We have then obviously the core networking elements as well as the smart home systems on those sort of shared systems, as we'd say, that are spread across all the systems above. So things like the control system, the core networking, the size of the server rack, all of that will be worked out automatically for you based upon the answers that you give within the sections above in terms of how many different systems that you're specifying to go into the home. The main thing to bear in mind is that all the prices shown are manufacturer's suggested retail pricing. With that, what we're able to do there is to show you what the manufacturer's suggested price is. Now obviously at the end, once you've selected all your different options, what we're able to do there is then we can calculate a special volume discount for you based upon the amount of elements that you're purchasing. And where you'll see that applied is in the summary email that you'll be sent at the end once you submit your specifications. What it will do is it'll automatically calculate those discounts for you, and then that discount amount will be shown, and the new sort of revised total will be shown upon the summary email that you're sent. So let's just jump into the tool. So if you keep scrolling down, here you'll see where you start to enter your details. So if we just enter some details here, and if we put an email address in here, now this email address is important because this is where the summary will be sent, which will include the volume discounts included on there. So important that you put the correct email address in. And here you see we begin to start the process whereby you can start selecting the options that you're interested in exploring further. So as we mentioned, we break them down by 6 sort of main categories. So you can see the categories listed on the screen. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to select all of them so that we can start to explore and quickly navigate through them. So we're just going to select the options. And then the main things you're going to start noticing is this is your navigation button. So this is the button to move forwards and also then correspondingly move backwards as well once we start progressing through the form. You'll notice as well that some of the answers here or questions are mandatory. So they do require an answer, and that can be obviously either a yes or a no, but it will mean where there's a star we do need an answer before you can actually progress onto the next page on the form. If at any stage you reach or you're trying to advance beyond the point where you are missing an answer, it will put you back to that answer and obviously highlight that it still needs to be completed. If you change your mind at any point, then you may need to navigate backwards. So if you've selected home entertainment, you're going to need to select one of the home entertainment options to be included. If you change your mind while you're filling out the home entertainment section, you will need to navigate back to this page to deselect the home entertainment options, and then that will allow you to proceed past that section. Okay, so let's just jump into the first section, which is safety and security. So here we talk about our layered security approach, which is where we are primarily trying to create many sort of layers of security across your property, primarily trying to stop any would-be intrusion at the boundary. We'd rather stop people before they enter your property rather than enter the building. So if we can stop them at the boundary and dissuade them and make them not view your house as a favourable target at the boundary, that's much better in our opinion than trying to stop them from actually physically breaking into your home when they're already on your grounds. So we very much view security as a layered approach, where we have the outer, the middle and the inner layers. Now, security is a many-faceted aspects to security, providing good home security. So what we're able to do is we are also able to provide a home security design service. So if you'd like us to take away the pain of having to go through and specify your own home security solutions, or the worry or the concern or the research around finding out about different security solutions, then you can just select the home security design service. What that will do is that will pop up an option here where you can then just come in and select that you would like us to do the home security review. There's some guide information here around pricing. Now what we'll do is, because every property is different, what we'll do is we will contact you just to sort of discuss your property in terms of to get an understanding of the size of the property, the number of buildings, how large the grounds are, and then what we'll do is obviously then we'll contact you, or we'll provide you, sorry, with a price based around doing your review, which will be specific to yourself. Let's just scroll back and look at some of the other options that are available. So if we just come through and select some of these options, you'll see now that these start appearing at the bottom as well. So with an intruder alarm, if you would like an intruder alarm, bear in mind some of the images as well as we go through here will be illustrative only. So this might not actually represent the equipment that you're going for, but it gives you a sort of a look and a feel. So what we would say here is, if you select the alarm process, what will then come into, or the alarm option, how many keypads you want. Now another thing to bear in mind here is a number of the options we have are this slider bar. So here you can see that we have the option where you can select up to 2 keypads, but you can also then select up to 18 motion sensors. Now if any stage you're going through the tool and the options aren't enough for you, then just contact us and we can provide you with specialized pricing for that. Most of the options we feel here in terms of the quantity should suit most scenarios, but obviously if there are any exception circumstances, please don't hesitate to contact us and we can help with that. Now the slider bar you can grab and pull, or you can click and point. So if we go to here, you can click and it comes up. Now the thing to bear in mind here, as I mentioned, is because the quantity is 2, the first graduation here is in the middle. So if we come back down and put it onto 0, if we were clicking here, you can see in terms of it's going to pull up to the 1. So it's just basically splitting that. Now the similar would be true for the 18. So if we click in here, you might get it jump up. So that's jumping to 2. Then you can sort of split that, goes to 1. Or you can hold and drag. So you would then specify how many motion sensors you want. You then go through how many contact sensors you want on the front doors. We normally include those because that's basically where it allows us to detach the timer starting on an exit sequence from when you enter the code on the keypad, i.e. if we have a contact sensor on the door, when you put the code into exit, what will happen is in a system where it doesn't have a contact sensor on the door, the countdown sequence will start based on what timing setting you've got that to, either 30 seconds or a minute. Whereas if we have a contact sensor on the door, what we can do is you can put your PIN code in, and then the countdown won't stop until the door is opened and then closed again, signifying that you've actually left the property, and then the countdown sequence starts. Just gives you a bit more of an orderly exit to your house when you're trying to leave. So yes, go through, select them, then we can see we'll start working out the costs for you for the different options. And what it will do is it'll give you a summary of some of the elements that have been selected. Some of the items that we provide for self-builds can also be 0 rated for VAT purposes on new build properties. Some of the elements include the intruder alarm, and then some elements to do with the heating and also the lighting. So what we'll do is we'll also show you some of the VAT amounts that you're saving by specifying this as part of the build process. So here we go through, we've selected the alarm. There are some optional upgrades available for the alarms. So here we have the enhanced keypads. So we go through, select the alarm monitoring. If we go through here, we can see that where we can select the enhanced keypad, it will give you the different finishes. So the enhanced keypad is basically a nicer aesthetic feel. And here we can select, say, the diamond white option, and then what it will show is it will show us the uplift here for the how much extra that keypad is costing you compared to the standard. But if you scroll back up, what we've done is we've actually added that in now to the overall keypad charge here. We've increased that by the uplifted amount. So this is the amount that you would pay for your alarm. Similarly then, we also offer, through one of our trusted partners, we have an Intruder Alarm monitoring service where they offer a 24/7 monitored service. Here you can watch a short video that describes the service. So if you'd like to go for that, you can just basically select the option here, and it's charged on a monthly basis. So that will be added, and there you can see in terms of the monthly costs. Come down and we're looking at contact sensors. So if you want to select the contact sensors, you would select yes. You would come in, and again you can see the look and the feel here for these. These are battery and wireless operated, so there's no wires to them. There's no cables seen running across your window frames and that such. So again, you can just pick your finish here. So you could pick white, and then what it will do, again, how many do you want? And then that'll give you the price. Similarly for the CCTV, come in and select the CCTV options. How many cameras do you want? So what it will do, if you tell it the number of cameras you want, it will automatically select the size of the central recording device. So if we scroll down, we also have the options where we can provide number plate recognition functionality with the smart home system, as well as a monitoring service. So if we just select those, again, you can see here. So the number plate monitoring, this would give us things like the ability to be able to read your number plate, and then when you're returning to a property, we can customize so that the house starts responding to your return automatically, so you don't even have to get a clicker out to click things or get your phone out to tell the system that you're there. It will know that your car's arrived, and then it can start a pre-programmed response, which could be various different items happening, from different lights turning on through to your favorite music starting to play, or the TVs coming on with your favorite channels. So when you arrive into the property, things are already starting to sort of enliven and welcome you home. Through to the monitoring service again, so you can add on the monitoring service, which is based around a service charge with a banding of 1 to 4, a charge for 1 to 4 cameras, and then any additional cameras above and beyond that are charged an additional fee per camera. So that charge is added in. If we come through, we have various different options. So here we're going to show you whereby we will select the smart doorbell, and again, then if you select the finish, you can select the quantity of the doorbells that you want. Now I'm going to just show you an example here, so I'm going to purposely not answer this question, and then I'm going to try and proceed forward. Now this happens to be for a very innovative solution that we have, which is a smart water stopcock, if you think about it that way, but it also manages and monitors your water consumption, so it gives you an accurate view of how much water you're consuming, but also what it does is it will monitor the flow rates, and it's looking for the pressure changes. So if there's a sudden dramatic release of pressure, it will know that there's been potentially a catastrophic leak, and it can automatically shut the supply off, therefore limiting the damage to your property. But it also can spot things like small pinhole leaks, which might take several months to spot before the damp builds up enough that you see it coming through the walls, whereas this device will know very quickly that you've got a small water leak, and again then can cause you to sort of, will shut off the supply, will let you know, so then you can start your investigations. It also does things in terms of, it has things where it will monitor a continuous flow rate. So say if you've left, you could set the settings for don't let a continuous flow happen for more than 30 minutes or an hour, and then what it will do is if you happen to have left maybe a tap running, it will be aware of that and sense that. Similarly, if a water system got stuck in terms of where it's continually passing water through in a continual flush cycle, then it will spot those types of things, and it can shut the supply off and let you know. And again, there's a short video here explaining the full usage of that functionality. And again, all of these systems can be integrated into the control system. So again, as I mentioned, we're going to just quickly forget to answer that one on purpose. Here also, again, spot the fact now that the back button has appeared. Now we're going to try and proceed. And here you can see in terms of where it's now suggesting that we need to provide an answer. So on this one, we're going to put yes. It gives us the costs, and now we can proceed. So again, if we come through, we can spot different options here in terms of from multi-room audio options through to mounting new TVs on the wall, media rooms, home cinema rooms, So again, if you were to select that you want multi-room audio, what we will do then is ask you how many rooms that you want the multi-room audio in. So again, if you select the rooms, what will happen, it will work out the cost of the speakers. It automatically works out the size of the amplifiers, the amount of cable and the install time, and then we'll put all the costs in accordingly and let you know the type of equipment that we're specifying. Again, then for one of the sort of major, I guess, challenges when you move into a new home is you're settled, you sit down on your sofa after you've taken all your belongings out of your boxes and you just want to watch your favorite TV show that night, and then you realize you've got to go around and start hanging and mounting all of the TVs on the walls. So we can take away that stress for you and even provide you with new TVs as well. We'll professionally mount all the relevant TVs and provide you new ones if required. So here you would come in and select and just take that stress away from moving in. At the end of the process of moving in, we should say. So then again, you can come through here and select which size of TV you want. So if you wanted say a 65-inch TV in 2 rooms and you wanted a 55-inch TV in your bedrooms, but then again, bear in mind, if you don't want a TV here, because this is a mandatory question, what you need to do is you do need to select no. So again, then it will work out the costs for you. We've got there various different specifications of media rooms available, from a 2.1, which is a simple sound bar with a subwoofer, through to a surround sound system, through to a Dolby Atmos enabled system. And again, if these levels of specifications, if you wanted something higher than this, if you wanted more speakers in your room, certainly we can help with that. Just contact us. We've got a short video here explaining what Dolby Atmos is, which is where the sound can come above you and appear like it's appearing from overhead, or sound like it's appearing from overhead in terms of things moving around you. Now here what we're going to do is we're just going to say no on that one, because we also then have an option whereby if you wanted to go the next step up and create yourself a home cinema room, we can then certainly give you some advice and guidance around the home cinema room designs. So here we have a home cinema initial consultation. So if you were to select that, and then what we can do is we can then move forward. And then smart lighting. Again, we have different options here. So if smart lighting is a world that's sort of unfamiliar to you, or even sort of how to make the most of your property from creating some beautiful lighting effects, again, feel free to avail yourself of our smart lighting design service, where we'll engage with professional lighting designers, and they can give you up to 3D renders that will show you what your finished lit rooms would look like across your property, and as well as the outdoor spaces as well. We really want to sort of maximize the aesthetic appeal of your property by looking at the whole lighting effect, both in the daytime and nighttime, in terms of from different elements in terms of comfort lighting within inside the property in those rooms that are maybe in like cupboards or walk-in wardrobes that maybe might not have any natural light, through to the outdoor spaces, so we can extend the use of your garden from into those periods in maybe the sort of when it's getting darker a little bit sooner, in terms of the autumn periods. We can extend the usage out there, as well as also making it more secure as part of your overall security strategy as well. So we have the smart lighting design service, as well as you can pick from smart lighting on the interior and exterior of your building. So again, if you wanted the lighting design service, just select that and we'll then contact you afterwards to make the arrangements. Or you can come through and again, we'll look at the lighting on the interior of your home. We have various different options around lighting keypads, with the ability to control dimmable circuits or non-dimmable circuits. And again, we describe all of this. We have different fixtures in terms of for the faceplates and also the buttons. We have here, which is called the traditional style, where you can see it's slightly curved. We have the style that's called contemporary, where it's a more flatter appearance. And we also have lots of different finishes in terms of the faceplates, in terms of the materials, from plastic, metal and glass materials, through to the actual colors themselves as well. So you would come through, select how many dual keypad dimmers that you want. So each dual keypad dimmer can dim 2 different circuits of lights. So again, we also have single dimmers, we have dual load switches. So the difference between a switch and a dimmer is a switch just turns the load on or off, whereas the dimmer obviously allows you to dim the brightness intensity, whereas the switch, there is no dimming functionality, it's either on or off. So again, we'd go through here. If you don't want any of these options, remember to press no. So we'll just go through no. It allows you then to select which style you want. So we're going to go for, actually we're going to go for contemporary. we're going to go for a plastic contemporary keypad faceplate, and here you can see the different colors that we have. So we'll maybe go for a ivory keypad, and we come down and then we can select the different colors of buttons that are available for that. Here you can see the different sizes and selections of buttons that come in a single pack. So a keypad itself can have up to 6 singles in a row on the keypad, or we could have 3 doubles, or we could have 2 triples. We could also have a triple with 3 singles. So any combination of these that fit into the 6 individual slots are possible. So if we just go through and select, and then again it will tell you the price. We come down. For exterior lighting, again we do this by how many external dimmable light circuits that you have. So if you had 2 sets of dimmable lights outside, what you would do then is you would say, I want to go for 2. If you had some non-dimmables, so these might be things like porch lights, so the sort of porch lights that just come on or off, again you would just say, okay, I've got 1 circuit of lights that are non-dimmable, and again it'll work the costs out for you. Progress forward, so here we've got some other options whereby motorized shades, or control of the underfloor heating, or control of a zoned radiator heating system. So the motorized shades, what you can do here is come in and select if you want the shades. We then do the shades by groups and sizes. So if you wanted to input 2 different sizes of blinds, we'll get the price for 2 different sizes, so you'd select 2. So what this opens up is it opens up a second window, so you can basically put in 1 size of blinds. So you put in the width of the blind, you put the size of the drop, and then you say how many of those that you want. If you then have a different width, so you might have one that's 2 meters wide by 2 meters tall, drop, and then you would come in and say, well, I want one of those as well. And again, if you run out of options here in terms of, or you need any guidance around that, or you want to see the swatch books that we have with all the different fabrics available, then please do contact us and we can help with those. So here we go through. So underfloor heating, this would be if you were going with a heat miser system, we can then integrate that into Control 4, and you end up with a full interface so that you can control your underfloor heating system, have the ability to temporarily boost it, see what's happening through that single user interface, which is the Control 4 system. So on this one, I'm going to say yes, and how many zones of underfloor heating will there be on the heat miser? So select the zones, and then also with your, if you were going for a radiator-based heating system rather than underfloor, there is the Residio's Evo Home smart zoning system, which allows you to create zones on your radiators, and again, Control 4 can integrate to that. So we're going to say yes. And how many radiator zones? So with the Evo Home, you can have up to 12 zones, and that includes one of the zones being your home hot water tank. So again, you can put your tank on to boost when you're not at the property. If you've realized you want to temporarily boost it, you could connect using the control system, or have that as part of your welcome home process, is that the water tank will immediately turn on when you're arriving home to start heating up if you've turned it off for any period, or conversely, if you've gone away on holiday, a part of your exit process could be when you're leaving for a prolonged period of time, is that we automatically turn the hot water down to a temperature whereby you're not using super amounts of electricity to heat the water while you're not in the property for an extended period. So I'm going to keep progressing through. We're very nearly there now, so we're coming into the networking section. So we have different options here where you would go for Wi-Fi options, TV wall sockets, or data sockets. Typically, obviously, this will normally be hidden behind a TV. We'd usually suggest locating these behind where the TV will be and the bracket around them, so that these are not visible. You'll notice here we also use angled, so that we are pointing the cable downwards, which also then allows us to get the TVs a bit closer to, and they don't have to be mounted as far away from the wall to fit the cable behind, cable entry behind. Now, if we come into Wi-Fi, we have 2 different options. We have options for indoor and outdoor. So if we come through the indoor, here you can see the type of effect whereby if you only had one wireless access point located, you might struggle to reach some further reaches of your property, whereas what we would normally recommend is having multiple wireless access points so that we can spread that signal across the property and give you a much better experience. So here we have the ability to select, and then again, how many wireless access points. And as with all the other sections throughout this, if you're unsure how many wireless access points you might need, feel free to contact us. You can provide us with your floor plan, and then we can give you an estimate, an accurate estimate based upon the designs of the property of how many and how many floors as well will be an important factor in terms of giving you an ideal position for as well as a number of wireless access points to give you the best type of coverage. You can also see here that there would be some outdoor spaces that maybe might struggle depending on the building materials. If there was a lot of glass along the property which can inhibit the Wi-Fi signal out to your patio areas, that could mean that you have very intermittent signal outside. If you have any outdoor cooking areas or hanging out areas in terms of patios and outdoor kitchens and entertainment spaces. So what you might also want to consider is some of our outdoor external wireless access points where we can mount these outside and ensure that you get a really superior Wi-Fi signal at the outside of your property, and you're not relying upon some Wi-Fi from overspilling from inside of your house. So we mentioned here we go into the wall sockets for the TV points. Here we provide 3 data points now. We're seeing with the proliferation of smart devices and streaming devices and things being attached to TVs to do different capabilities, from Sky boxes through to various other streaming devices. It's always prudent, we feel, to have additional access points, and where possible, obviously, try and wire these connections to the network rather than relying on Wi-Fi. So here we would go beyond the norm of recommendations, which is 2 data with 2 coaxial, and we actually recommend for our clients that we normally fit 3. So again, how many TV sockets that you want to add, we can add a TV socket. We come down then again for data sockets. So these are useful for things like areas where you might be sort of like a home working office. So good examples of things to attach to these would be things like home printers, where you wouldn't want to have your printer, you send a big print job or file to the printer. If you're sending that over the Wi-Fi network, obviously that could then slow down the Wi-Fi traffic for anyone browsing on their phones or any other devices that are using the Wi-Fi. So we'd normally recommend for printers is let's carve those off and connect those physically with a cable to the network so that we're not sending that traffic over the Wi-Fi network. So again, come in here, select how many data sockets you want, that'll work it out for you. Okay, so last section now we go into is in terms of here you can see the various different interfaces that we have available for the smart home system. So here you can see Control 4. This is the new X4 version that's just been released, and you can see here in terms of we have some touchscreens which would be wall mounted. You can also use a tablet. So if you have an iPad or any Android device, Control 4 comes as an iOS application or an Android application as well, available on obviously the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store, and you can also then be able to load them onto the relevant mobile devices as well. So you have full access to the environment and you're able to control that from anywhere in the world, and you can see what's happening at your property. So here we have the ability. They also have other interfaces where we also have smart remote controls. So if we select the smart remote control, and we'll have a look at some of the more touchscreens. So we have different form factors. We have the Halo remote, and there's a short video here you can play to see that remote. We have also the Neo, again with touchscreen at the top. The Halo also comes with a version where there is a touchscreen at the top. And then we have the more traditional SR2600 or 2600. And that device is a non-touchscreen, but has a lot more buttons on there, shall we say. And the menu options are sort of the traditional green screen. So we come through, you would select which remotes you want. You would come in here and say, okay, I want some of the Halo touch. So I want the ability to touch the screen at the top, and I'm quite interested in the black one. So I'm going to go for one of those. Oh yeah, actually in one of the other rooms I might want a silver one, so you can also select silver. You say I want one of those. You come down and say, do you want the non-touch version? So this is the version where the screen is non-touch at the top. So no, not interested in that one. Or the Neo, no, that's okay. Oh yes, no, I do want one of the SR260s. So you come here, you would select the finish, and then you would then select the number that you want. And then what it will do is it will tell you the total costs. Again, with the touch screens, here you can see in terms of they come with different finishes available. So these are very good for rooms where you have multiple zones that you can see. So say if you have an open plan area where you can see the kitchen, the dining room, you can also maybe see the outdoor patio area. These are really good for those sort of types of scenarios where you want to be able to quickly control things in those elements without having to go and find where's your phone if it's not in your pocket. You can quickly go to the touch screen and navigate through those rooms very quickly. And then if you wanted to, you can also go to the other rooms across the property through the menu options. And there's also the ability whereby we create a dashboard view for all the most important things that you're using across your property. So that might be things like security devices you want to see very quickly. We can have a dashboard page for those so you can get a very quick view of what's happening in your home. So if we're going to say we want some touch screens, here you're going to see where we're going to select now. We have two different sizes. We have a 10 and an 8 inch, and we have two different finishes. So we have the white bezel that surrounds, or we have the black bezel that surrounds. So here we're going to go for some 10-inch white, and we're going to go for one of those. We want some 8-inch for some other rooms, so for the bedrooms. We're going to go for two of those, and then click forward. Right, now this is the section we reach where we're now moving into the shared equipment summary. So what this is going to do is this is going to calculate automatically for you the control 4 environment that you're going to require. So based upon the selection, so here we have a short video sort of running through some of the functions and powers and capability of control 4, and this is the new X4 interface. So here you can see we've automatically worked out the number of devices that you're going to be controlling. And correspondingly then we're suggesting the size of controller, so we're specifying that for you and working that out. With the blinds and such and various different other bits, we know that we need some extra accessories, and then also we've worked out the corresponding programming time. We come through and we'd work out here the number of or the size of the router that you require. We'd normally recommend our own router because that provides you much more robust network. It also allows us to remotely connect to your environment, so we can provide support services. It also will work out the number of network port switches. So here we know that from what you specified in the system that we will need at least 34 network ports. So we then will correspondingly specify the correct number of switches, and we work out the cost for that. We will also then work out the size of the patch panel that you require. So this patch panel will be where all of the cabling from around the property comes back to in a central location. And then what will happen is basically if we then need to connect something to the network, there'd be a cable running from this patch panel back over to the server rack. So what this does is this allows us to basically have a nice and neat finish, an orderly finish for all of the cables around your property. So that would be things like all the TV points, all the data points and the wall sockets. They would all come back to this panel. So you have a nice neat finish. And if in the future you ever decided to move away from the property, you would just attach all of your smart home systems, and then you're left with this nice neat box on the wall where if anyone then is buying your property in the future, they can basically connect their own systems to them. So rather than being left with a whole bundle of wires dangling down in a room, we have this nice neat finish in this patch panel. So that's automatically worked out for you. We'll also work out the size of the server rack we're going to need to enclose all of the systems. Here you can see we have a short sized rack, so not all of them are big tall racks. We do have shorter sizes, and what the system will do here, you can see again obviously one of the other things that we pride ourselves on is the finish. So all of the racks will be professionally and neatly cabled so that it allows for any future maintenance to be done very easily. Any upgrades and updates can all be done. Any troubleshooting can be very easily encompassed, and we'd give you various documentation confirming all the layouts. And here you can see obviously also we're identifying all of the cables so that they can easily be identified in the future if we're doing any troubleshooting. Here you can see the size, so we've automatically worked out that we needed a 13U rack, so we've specified U of 15, which is the next size up, and here you can see the dimensions for that rack, so that rack is under 1 meter high. We'd also then work out the power requirements, so how much power we need, and we have here smart, what we call PDUs, so power distribution units. This allows us to remotely switch on and off, or off and on the power to the devices that are attached to those. So that can be used very elegantly as part of any troubleshooting where we want to be able to power cycle any equipment. We can remote, so we don't have to go to site then, or we don't have to ask you to go and switch it off. We can actually remotely switch it off and then back on again using the smart PDU. Through to then having what is a UPS, or an uninterruptible power supply unit. So this is a specialized UPS designed for computer rack equipment, and what it will do is it will provide continuous power in the event of a power cut, but also it will smooth out any power spikes or drops, so that basically it's allowing the equipment to receive a nice, steady, continuous flow of electricity. And then obviously will provide continuous electricity if the power drops. And because it's uninterruptible, what that means is, unlike some systems where there may be over a couple of milliseconds a perceivable transfer of power from the mains power to a battery backup, which is what you can see in some EV battery systems for homes, where you'll see that slight dip in the lights when it transfers over. With these systems, they're designed whereby there is no dip, because those types of dips can affect server equipment. So what this does is it continuous power. It's instantaneous, basically, in terms of as far as the server equipment is concerned. So we're going to add the UPS to the system. And now what we'll do is when we click here, you'll see now we get to the summary. So what this is doing is it's going to give you a summary of all the different elements that you've selected. So as we go through, you can see all of the different charges. And then what we do is we add them all up for you. But again, here, please see the note around the volume discount. So this is the manufacturer's suggested retail price. So we go through here now. If we continue, so this is telling you obviously to continue through. So if you click the next button, what we do here is we come to the disclaimer. Once you click submit here, what will then happen is that will automatically generate your bespoke quotation for you. It will email that through to you, and within that will be included the volume discount, and you'll see the offer that we're able to make you in terms of the discounted price. So if we just click submit here, you'll see that it's just processing the information. Okay, so the submission's been made. Now if we go over to our inbox here, and there we go, we can see that the price has arrived. So we click into the email, and here we can see we have an attachment along with our contact details to discuss anything with us. So if we click on the email, here we can see in terms of you've got now your quotation. Again, a summary of all the different items and the prices. And here we can see in terms of the amount that was originally quoted, and now we've applied the discount levels in here, so you can see your revised total. And here is a summary of the different options that you've selected. So you've got a reminder of which elements you went through and which ones you selected. So there you can see in terms of that's how to use the tool. We'd love to help you and work with you on your exciting new build project. Please feel free to contact us if you've got any questions, or you would like to talk about anything that's not included on the tool. If you've got any sort of specific feedback, we'd welcome the opportunity to speak with you about your project. Many thanks, and goodbye for now.